Hello, I will explain what are the main differences between populist leadership and servant leadership. The reason for that is because we saw an increasing number of populist leaders claiming that they were serving the people, while, to our knowledge, that is something that servant leaders also do. So we wanted to understand what are the differences between these two types of leaders, if they claim the same thing. And what we realize is that we can distill the differences at 4 levels. The first one has to do with people centricity and the type of centricity we're talking about. What we see is that populist leaders look at the people as some form of abstract collective, as sort of a very broad identity-based collective, while servant leaders tend to look at the people far more according to their individual needs and personal concerns. The second aspect has to do with the role the people should take. While for the populist leader, the people are victims against the elites and they should fight and rebel against the elites, the servant leader looks at the people not as victims but as agents of change themselves that can take ownership from their own life, where the elites are also part of the process. The third element has to do with the problem-solving approach. We see that populist leaders tend to oversimplify reality, they like monistic views, and they like polarization. So they live on that clear distinction between opposing sides. While servant leaders recognize the complexity of reality and they have a pluralist view, trying to integrate different views and coming up with solutions that make sense. They might be simple, but they're not simplistic. And finally, the last distinction has to do with the leader role itself. For populist leaders, what we see is that the leaders like to take central stage. They like to be the center of attention. They like to create dependency so that the people see them as the enablers of their liberation. While the servant leader does not want to have that central stage, he or she is mainly concerned about empowering the people to take ownership themselves, and he takes a far more low-profile, persuasive approach, far more individual as well, and not so much from, based on those sort of large inspirational speeches that you often see with populist leaders. So in our view, the difference between the two are clear, and it's very important to actually promote more servant type of leadership rather than populist leadership if we want to go about addressing the problems of climate change and all other kind of social problems we're facing in the world.